If you see me talking to myself, just move along. I'm self-employed. We're having a staff meeting. It's probably true. Welcome back to the show. I'm Akorn, and today is Friday, which means it's time for Gen X and Millennial Memes, where we remember all the things we didn't even know we forgot about. At some point in our childhood, we've all been here. This is true, but not nearly bad as that. Mine was only a partial. How about you guys? Did you all get the full use of the surface area on that burner? I feel like most of us probably just got partials. In the 70s, I grew up in a house where we wheeled the dishwasher and hooked it up to the faucet. I'd love to have one of these right now, actually. I certainly don't have the room for a permanent installation. However, if I could store it somewhere and only pull it out when needed, that would probably work. Every 80s kid knows the agony of getting branded by one of these seatbelts on a hot summer day. Yeah, most of the time because we sat on them, because they laid in the seats a lot more than we ever wore them. Taylor Swift writes whiny songs about all her exes. Stevie Nicks made her ex play guitar while she sung songs about what an he was. I think that's a pretty great generational comparison. How many of you guys remember when Kmart, Target, and other stores would have parking lot clearance sales, just like this one that you see here? How many of you guys remember the Blockbuster Rewards card? This is something I actually don't remember. Must have been toward the end of the era. Name a vampire that isn't Dracula. The best one, the Count on Sesame Street. The Wonder Years premiered 37 years ago, depicting events 20 years earlier in 1968. A similar show today would be set in 2005. That's just kind of messed up. The most Gen X thing ever. Yeah, once again, even the news forgets about Gen X. And the thing that really gets me on this is they're even listing the years, and they still don't notice. As we've had in past shows, this certainly isn't the first time that even the news has forgotten Gen X. It might not be safe, but I bet they all still remember it. Well, I guess that's one way to keep the kids entertained, and you don't have to hear them asking, "Are we there yet?" Okay, hear me out. An old-fashioned candy necklace, but with Tums and ibuprofen. I guess that works for easy access, and as long as you're wearing it, you always have some with you. Now they just need one for all of our prescription meds. The first CD player, the Sony CDP-101, was released in the US in 1983 at the tune of around $750. The first music album on CD was Billy Joel's 52nd Street. They say the real ones know about the struggle meal. This isn't a struggle meal. This is a childhood delicacy. Yeah, you got cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and if you wanted to, you could throw in some eggs and maybe another ingredient or two and make French toast. In the 80s, places like this rocked. Yeah, figuratively and sometimes literally too. If you grew up flipping rocks over looking for bait, you had a great childhood. Yeah, catching minnows, crawfish, tadpoles, frogs, and anything else that you happen to come across, including snakes sometimes. How many of you guys went out at night with a flashlight, usually covered with a piece of cloth or something to kind of dim it down just a little more, and go out hunting for night crawlers at night? You had to be really quiet and really slow, and you couldn't let the light stay on them too long. Otherwise, they'd sense the light and shoot straight back down their hole in the ground. We'd catch them by the handfuls when I was a kid. After swimming, this used to hit so hard back in the day. You just need to put the chips on the sandwich though, and you could have some more on the side too. I am at the age where I finally understand why anyone would be happy to win a new appliance package on The Price is Right. Yeah, even more so these days. Cost $1,800 for a refrigerator or something, and the thing probably lasts 2 or 3 years. These phones may have been limited by today's standards, but you never had to recharge the battery. They worked during power outages, and you never lost them. The chores and hard work we hated as kids made us who we are today. That is very true. Wrong answers only. What's this car part? This was the original block heater. When you get in the car on a cold morning, you'd push it in, and when it would get warmed up, it'd pop out. Then you could turn the key in the ignition and start your car.
Good job!
Greatest building painters ever. That is pretty darn good job. One of the best 80s films ever made. We didn't know it back then, but your teacher was definitely hungover when this thing rolled into class. When I was a kid, I downloaded songs on this from the radio. I guess that is technically true. Sort of, at least. We recorded it from the radio. It's a lot faster to download a song, though. Back in the day, this was real childhood. Yes, it was. You will touch the hearts of many. Let's confuse this current generation. Yeah, they may not use this anymore, but a whole lot of kids need to.
Life must have been so boring without cell phones.
Nah, we managed. In the 80s, even our spaceships had carpet and wood paneling. They put wood paneling on everything back then. 70s and 80s social media kit. Yeah, pretty much all you needed back then. No matter how far I go in life, I'll never be too good for some poverty nachos. Melting cheese on some tortilla chips was just a good snack. I just booked this sweet secluded cabin in the Tennessee mountains. If you guys were offered this cabin for free, would you take it? When grocery prices are going up, but it's okay because I grew up eating this. I especially like the alphabet soup down there. Who has some food stamps? That's just kind of funny. Manual machinist. CNC machinist. They're not wrong. Kids getting thrown off right and left. Total carnage. Wails of anguish. Not one adult gave a single shit about it. Sure, but did we want them to? No. We didn't want to stop. We could have stopped any time. It was too much fun, though. Problems that were overblown. Quicksand. People offering me free substances. Getting lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Problems I was not sufficiently warned about. Arguing with robots about unexpected items in bagging areas. Remembering all of my passwords. Existential dread. We could expand on this list quite a bit, but these are true. As a kid, I lived in a house that only had one bathroom, a phone connected to the wall with a cord, a TV that had 4 channels and an antenna, and no internet. That's all true, but we also had a lot better life back then. You may be old, but are you this old? Yeah, not many people would know what this is these days. How many of you all used these when you were in school? When I was a kid, there was 2 ways to unalive: natural causes and talking back to your parents. Yeah, that was potentially true, and at the very least, I guarantee you wouldn't forget it anytime soon. Back in my day, we had to go to Channel 3 to play video games, and we liked it. Yes, we did. The most stolen object of all time. I don't know. I think it'd be in a pretty tight race for the Big Pen, too. There was a time, not so long ago, when mean machines like this were regularly seen prowling the streets of any town, USA. With the cost of car parts, things like this has been priced far out of most people's range, even if they rebuilt it themselves. Careful, mother. Tests on over 1,100 brands of toilet paper show that 89% of them contain splinters, tiny irritating particles of ground wood. Protect your family, particularly your children. Insist always on Northern tissue. Absolutely guaranteed 100% free from splinters. My only question is, if this advertisement has to do with toilet paper, then why does the kid look like he's got a splinter in his toe? Weekend at Ernie's. Poor old Ernie. The Muppet Show predicted what most women would look like in 2025. Pretty close, actually. Those were the best weekends. Looks like somebody stole Pizza Hut's glass, too. You might be old if 1 point for everything you've done. There is 24 points possible, and out of that, I got 23, because the only one of these I'd never done was written a check. I don't know anyone over there, so why would I write them? How many points did you guys get? Drop it down in the comments. Way before social media, this is how we knew where everybody was. If you know, you know. I am Gen X. I was raised with a parent that said, if they swing first, you finish it. Absolutely right. And that's the way it should be. Look, I'm not saying kids today don't have it tough in school, but we had to chew these and everyone knew who didn't brush their teeth. These ladies in the supermarket thought I was crazy because I yelled to them, "Thank you for being a friend." The real ones know what's up. Yep, cornflakes and bananas. This is my favorite type of cereal. And when I eat cereal these days, this right here is exactly what I'm gonna eat. If you used one of these back in the day, chances are you're immune to everything. I saw a video not long ago about where they done a study, and they say that the hand dryers only remove about 25% of germs and bacteria on your hands, whereas a towel was removing more than 75% of it. I thought that was pretty interesting. The technology that impresses kids today. The technology that impressed me as a kid. That is true. Unlike y'all, I only get my news from reliable sources. Hey, it'd still be better than most mainstream media. I'm a wooden spoon, lead paint, no seatbelt, no car seat, no bike helmet, bed of pickup riding, garden hose drinking, Survivor. If Star Wars was released in 1987 instead of 1977. Fact check true. You must be from a small town if Friday night meant driving back and forth on the same street for hours. $1 worth of gas was enough to cruise all the food joint parking lots over and over again till we got dizzy, then we quit and went home. I think this is more or less true for most towns in that time. Childhood memory number 261. Being hit in the shins by these bastards from hell. You know, I don't think we all enjoyed these enough. They could have at least made the points a little sharper. That would have made for certain that we always carried those memories. Name a movie or TV series that has to do with school. I'm gonna take the easiest one, and that's The Breakfast Club. What other movies or TV shows do you guys remember? Raiders of the Lost Ark was made in 1981 and took place in 1936. If they did a remake next year with the same time gap, it would take place in 1981. Yeah, we're that old. Actually, this isn't correct. It actually took place in 1980, which is even worse. How many of you guys remember Mexican jumping beans? I wanted some of these for the longest time when I was a kid, although they didn't come in the little fancy containers. Who remembers these vent windows? I remember and miss them. Well, I don't miss them too often. I still have vent windows on my truck. Now, if I can only get the fuel pump fixed. Can someone rewind me back to my childhood, put on some cartoons, and give me some cereal? A lot of good mornings that way. Parents in the 80s. Don't watch that movie. It's too scary. Also, parents in the 80s. Let's go to dinner. And we were happy to go, too. Here's to all of us who grew up watching Mel Brooks films and aren't easily offended. What do you guys think would happen if some of these films aired for the first time today? Drop the name of the film and what you think the reaction would be down in the comments. Gen X are just 40 to 60-year-olds who look 30 to 40 years old and feel however old the moment and situation require us to feel. Generation X, as young as we've ever been and as old as we're ever gonna get. Well, I guess we're still young at heart, but most of the time, I think our bodies disagree. Back when your game took 10 minutes to load, and you were grateful. Yeah, how many times did we sit there and waiting for it to load, only to end up with error messages, so we'd sit there and do it all over again. Sometimes you take out the disc, look at it, put it back in, and we'd keep doing it until it finally worked. Same way with the original Nintendo. Same way with some of the other old game systems. It's just how it was back then. Cigarettes are like squirrels. They're perfectly harmless until you put one in your mouth and light it on fire. Well, they're not wrong. Growing up, I really thought that quicksand would be more of an issue. Yeah, I can agree with this. It seemed like no matter what kind of movie or TV show you were watching, eventually, quicksand was somehow involved. Stop what you are doing. Go to the O'Reilly Auto Parts website. No link provided. I want you to Google it. Once at the website, enter part number 121G into the search bar. Now, once you look it up and see what it is, come back here to the video and answer this question. If you were given the choice between $10 million in cash or what that part fits, which one would you take? Drop your answer down below. We didn't need apps to stay connected. We just knocked on the door and said, "Can you come out and play?" I seen another meme about this the other day. Apparently nowadays, knocking on the door is just something that old people do. When I'm invited to go out past 8 p.m., it's not party time, it's sleepy time. Or at least sit back and relax and call it a day time. 80s trauma six-pack. Me interrupting my parents' heated argument to tell them about my favorite Capri Sun flavor. When your probation officer comes over. Gotta make sure you get the laser background and the windbreaker right though. As a father sees it. As the child sees it. As the mother sees it. I tend to agree with this. What do you guys think? Do you think this is true? Even back in our day? Your mom thought you were riding your bike around the block for 8 hours, but in that time you went 5 miles away, explored an abandoned house, jumped over some garage roofs, attempted a Ouija board, built a den in the woods, and made your own fire. Yeah, back in the days when kids spent far more time outdoors than indoors. This was all you needed for a birthday party back in the day. Yeah, that's very true. And if it was a fancy birthday party, someone might have even brought some of those birthday whistle things that they had back in the day. Do you guys know if they still make these? I'm at the age where too much noise irritates the heck out of me. I have to admit, that is true at times. I even turn off my window AC sometimes because it just makes too much noise. Whenever I'm getting ready to leave the house, I'll turn it back on so it'll cool the house back down. As a kid, I literally thought these would replace dogs at some point. Never thought that, but I do remember when they gained popularity there for some years. You're old school if you know what this light coming on means. I'll never trust what's in Hamburger Helper until the fifth finger is found. You know, now that I think about it, how did I never even notice that before? That actually sounds pretty good right now. Me, a horrible parent, telling my child the end piece on the sandwich bread is the same bread, and totally fine, when I know in my heart that it's not. You always save the heels of the bread for last. The reason being, as long as you leave the heel covering the first slice of bread, it keeps the rest of the loaf from drying out nearly as quickly. Who remembers pull-down maps? Pull-down maps? Globes? Paper maps? Who remembers taking the tests where you had to write in the names of every state, or where you had to write the names in of different countries? Today, with a lot of these college-educated kids, half of them think if they go to Hawaii, they're going to a different country. And I'll end today's show with this. Inside every older person is a younger person wondering what the heck happened. This is very, very true. This life certainly has a way of making you question things. I want to thank all of you who watched this video to the end, as it really helps to support the channel. If you want this series to continue, then please share these videos with your family, friends, and social media. Also consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, smash subscribe and click that bell and set it to receive all notifications so you'll never forget another episode. I'd like to thank all of our channel members for your support. If you would like to become a channel member, click the join button down below the video for details. I also want to thank all of you who watched this video to the end, as it really helps to support the channel. If you want this series to continue, then please share these videos with your family and friends. Please consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, smash subscribe and click that bell to receive all notifications. And this brings us to the close of today's show, but I'll see you guys back here on Sunday's show. Until then, I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.